Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the Nearly Midnight Movie Chat here in Hollywood After Dark. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. Tonight we're going to be talking about Dave Filoni, why the man is king, and that he's finally being acknowledged as such. And, of course, some drama with Rangers of the New Republic. And, of course, Gina Carano being at the absolute center of it. But we're going to get into that and more right now. Oops, I hit the wrong button. All right. Anyway, you know what? As soon as I'm getting ready to go, like stuff starts going haywire. No camera tonight. Having internet issues, StreamYard is not able to pull it off in a way that I think is going to be good. So I'm just not going to do it. Anyway, guys, how y'all doing tonight? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Having a good time. Let's just, kind of dive in to see who's here. Garrick, right off the bat, why do these clickbait sites keep running with these? Brie Larson is going to be in the next Star Wars. I don't know, because some people like Doom dipshit keep coming out and saying things like that, and clickbait articles keep running their mouths because they ain't got nothing else to talk about, so they're just like, let me tell you about this rumor I heard. Brie Larson is going to be Mara Jade, or Luke Skywalker's wife. And she now has full control of Lucasfilm, because that's kind of the narrative that they're pushing, right? That's the complete insane batshit, or that's the narrative they're running with. Like somehow Brie Larson has come in with like big titty magic and like just completely seduced everybody at Lucasfilm. That she's come in and she's just all like, Jimmy Kimmel her way into this thing with that same dress. And like, somehow gotten like Filoni and Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy and Carrie Beck and the other executives that are there to just fall under her spell. Of course, this is what they want you to believe. This is the big lie that Doomcock and Mecha Random and Geeks and Gamers and the Fandom Menace, they keep selling you on this lie because people keep running with it. And it's all one big grift. It's all one big insular grift, man. And it is mind-boggling how dumb some people are. And at this point, I don't even want to like be nice to these people anymore. I don't even want, not to say that I've ever really been nice, but I don't want to be cordial. I don't want to sit there and like tap them on the head and go, oh, good for you. You believe nonsense. I want to shake them and just be like, wake up, wake the fuck up. Because they're being lied to. And I don't like people I don't like people lying to other people. And I don't like people being taken advantage of. And I kind of feel like that's what happens in these situations. Now, anyway, but Evil Ash here, by the way, I love the name, does say, because they are nothing more than outrage mongers looking to feed off hate for money, like the Fandom Menace. Of course. Of course. It's good stuff here. I see we've got Yvonne here, Geek Studios, just a random, very intelligent Drake. Thank you, James. What's going on? Otis, how you doing? How you guys doing tonight? Music Man, hey, how's it going? I'm doing okay, man. Today's been I don't want to say productive day, but it's been a day. And of course, Army of the Dead drops tomorrow. I was trying to get something done with that today. Unfortunately, wasn't able to schedule it. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll get something going on tomorrow. But of course, I want you guys all to go and check it out. I want you guys all to go and enjoy it. I want you guys all to go and watch it. It's going to be midnight here in the next hour and 9 minutes. And you guys can go watch a 2.5 hour long movie with zombies and zombie titties. That's a bit of a spoiler, but it's true. Zombie titties. And I'm going to go watch Bad Batch and then I'm going to go to bed. Because that's kind of how this works. Anyway, AJ, what's going on, man? How you doing? Rainbow the Gamer, how's it been? Yenis131, what's going on? Lord Slug, how you doing? Let's see here. Okay, hold on. Is my microphone not working? My microphone is not. I don't know. Hold on. I saw this thing here saying like, is your microphone better than whatever? Okay. There we go. Some super chats here. H Barts right off the bat. Mundane Jet Marbo. There you go. James Wins here says hashtag Pay for Jarbo. Hashtag BDS internet. Yeah, no shit, man. It's been a weird day for it. What can I say? Voice of the Emperor here, $2. Hashtag Murphy's Law. Thank you. TW, how's it going, man? You do suck. Says Jarbo and 380i is better than no Jarbo. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. You guys are so nice over here. You're so kind. My other channel, oh my God, man. It's like, I get a lot of that. Like, why don't you just like kill yourself all the time over there? You guys over here, you're just like, we like you. Over there, they're like, eat a dick and die. I hear that a lot. Really weird for the mental health. I'm not going to lie. Really weird for the mental health. You're like, man, this audience seems to enjoy the work I do. This audience wants me to put my head on a spike, preferably probably while I'm still alive to feel it. There we go. But of course, this is all movie news. Alvy, what's going on, man? How you doing? Lord Slug here says, the Filoni news is amazing. So happy for him. He deserves this. I'm very happy for this too. I'm very happy. Lord Slug here talking about the Instagram video that Brie Larson posted. Yeah, with the gratuitous butt shot. Yeah, I saw that. There we go. I know. All right, let's get back up here. So we'll start off with Rodney Pino asking the questions, thoughts on the Injustice animated movie. I think I touched on this last night. And I'm down for it, man, cuz like I happen to like Evil Superman and I like the Injustice storyline. I think that's going to be quite fascinating. A lot of people out there really kind of like the darker takes on things. Maybe not cinematically, but like animation wise, it works. And I think Warner Brothers is going to start capitalizing on this kind of stuff because like, I think that like, the Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons movie, which was good. That was rated R. I think that did well. I think Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, which was also rated R. I think that did very well. I think Scorpion's Revenge, the Mortal Kombat animated movie, also did well. Rated R. There is money in the Harley Quinn show, by the way, is very popular on HBO Max. A lot of people love it. It's R-rated. There's a market there. There is a market there for that kind of content over on, over on this stuff. And I think at the end of the day, that would probably be the best course of action for Warner Brothers to push out there. The best course of action would be to go down that pathway. It's like, hey, cheaper made R-rated animated movies with our characters makes money. Why aren't you doing that shit more often? I mean, even The Killing Joke was rated R and in theaters, and it did so well 5 years ago, that they did an encore showing of it the next night. And it still spent like 4 weeks at number 2 in the Blu-ray and home video sales. People like this kind of stuff. Warner Brothers should be doing more of this kind of stuff. And unfortunately, they haven't done that yet. All right, let's see. Ryan here asks, how much for the Truffle Shuffle? Oh, that's a tough question. I am an Oregonian. And I've watched it. I could shake it and it could jiggle. Not as much as it used to. That's a good sign. But I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one. Anyway, the Voice of the Emperor does say here, have you seen Mortal Kombat? I haven't. I got a DM today from Eddie, Eddie Evolution, who calls in all the time. Good guy. He's all like, just so you know, Mortal Kombat's leaving HBO Max this week. You should really watch it. I'm like, yeah, I should really watch it. Maybe tonight after I finish up Bad Batch, I'll pop it on, I'll watch it, and I'll go to sleep. And I can review it. I need to review more things. That's kind of the other side of things too. It's just like, it's been so much crap going on. Like this whole situation with my back and the insurance company, like I got into it with them today again, because they're just like, the orthopedic doctor needs my insurance company to sign off on an MRI. I need to get an MRI. Like I am well beyond when I needed to get the MRI. So to make sure that I'm healing well, that the compression fracture is healing well, or what treatment I need, or if I need to go speak to a spinal surgeon. And like the information I gave to the orthopedic company doctor, their billing department is having trouble contacting my insurance company, and my insurance company is not responding. And it is a mess. So it's entirely possible that something could happen to where either I have to cover the MRI cost myself. I do have full health insurance through the state of Washington, but this was a workplace related injury. So if I use my own personal health insurance, as far as I understand it, that's a violation of state law. And so I don't want to, so what are they backing me between a rock and a hard place? Literally. It's crazy. It's annoying. It's just been frustrating. So I got to get that under control. That's kind of what's going on next. James asks, will there be call-ins? Probably. I'll do a couple. I'll do a couple tonight. I want to keep it short, though. Be out of here right before midnight so I can go and watch it. Anyway, okay. Geeks here says the original X-Men trilogy finally on Disney Plus. Happy to see it all there. Aren't all of the movies there? I would love to. I need to watch this again. All right. Lord Slug here says, I hope it's based on the game, talking about the Injustice animated movie, because those characters are rough as hell to look at, especially Wonder Woman, who looks like a dude. Hold on. Injustice, Wonder Woman. Let me see here. What does she look like? We'll bring this up. That is not the best. I will absolutely admit. This is kind of freaky, to be honest with you guys. If you haven't seen what Wonder Woman looks like, this is in Injustice 2, by the way. This is in Injustice 2. This is what she looks like in Injustice 2. That's kind of horrifying. Like, the eyes are specifically what does it. She's got that, you're going to put a baby in me or I'm going to fucking kill you look on her face. Anyway, if you anything goes here. But yeah, that's kind of a weird one. All right. Hopefully it will be a little bit different. You Suck here says spines are overrated. Yeah, no shit. I know. All right. We're going to have to wait and see how things go. All right. X-Men First Class isn't on Disney Plus. Well, that's lame. That's pretty dumb. All right. So we got on about 15 minutes. We got about 60 people in here. By the way, please slap a like if you want to help support the channel, or a super chat, either or. Likes work for me, though. I'll take that. Yeah, let's take a quick look here at the first thing of the day. This whole thing going on with Dave the King Filoni, because there's been a lot of talking about that. A lot of people were very happy. They were praising him on Twitter today. He was trending on Twitter today. The Mandalorian executive producer Dave Filoni's new job at Lucasfilm isn't actually new, but fans on Twitter got excited anyway. Well, yeah, because people love Dave Filoni. Look at him. He's wholesome. Look at it. He's just wholesome. Look at our king. Look at him. He's just got those soft eyes. He's like, hey, I tell Star Wars stories, and you guys like me. And you know what? We do like you, Filoni. That's the whole point. But anyway, let's find out more about this particular situation. Last summer, Lucasfilm quietly promoted the executive producer and frequent writer and director of The Mandalorian to executive creative director for the entire studio. A rep has confirmed with Variety, but the company didn't update its website with Filoni's new title until this week, which is when it began to percolate and then explode across Reddit and Twitter as if the promotion had just happened. Well, here's the thing with that, though, guys. The promotion, yeah. Why? I'm kind of curious why it took them a long time to put Filoni in that position publicly. I don't get it. Maybe they were waiting for the Gina Carano thing to die down. Maybe they just, they were just like, they didn't want to rock the boat. Maybe Filoni didn't want to rock the boat. This could have been a Filoni call. But either way, it now confirms exactly what we knew, and that is that the right people are really in good positions of power over there at Lucasfilm. A lot of people here, like Okiro here says, Dave Filoni becoming executive creative director is the best thing that could have happened to Star Wars right now. What already happened? Even like Ming-Na Wen, who's been shooting the Book of Boba Fett, and Katie Sackhoff are like, hell yeah, so happy. Like, I don't know if that's just, if that's his social media camaraderie. She could have dropped a humble brag and a bit of a flex right there. Like, I've already known this, you guys. Well, yeah, you're freaking Fennec Shand. There's a lot you that we don't know. Everything else here. Now, I mean, obviously that they go on to kind of, fillet Filoni's career, which is fantastic. And it's one of those things where it's like filleted away. Now, so it says here, Filoni's new position was seen as one of many promotions that are announced internally but not made public. And it appears the company was caught off guard by the enthusiastic response to a standard, if overdue, update to its website. At one point on Thursday, the site was temporarily unavailable. It's all another reminder that with Star Wars fans, it's do or do not, there is no try, which is very true. Which is very, very true. The way I look at that basically is like this. Filoni has been around since 2005. He has developed a lot with Star Wars. There is an entire generation of kids who have grown up with him being the guy. Just like I grew up with Lucas being the guy. You might have grown up with Lucas being the guy. But there are people out there who grew up with Filoni being the guy. And he's getting that recognition. And he's in a position now where he can actually really help shape where things are going, where he can help shape what Star Wars is going to be and where Star Wars is going to be. And I don't know about you, but I love that. Because Filoni always seems like the kind of guy who just gets it. But at the other side, this isn't a guy who comes in with an attitude. This isn't a guy that comes in with the, yo, I'm King Filoni, I'm king shit. He doesn't do that. Like, look, think what you will about Kathy Kennedy, but I give her credit on one thing. When she took over, she brought in Filoni, she sat Filoni down and she was like, what is it you want to do? Okay, I mean, obviously the new head of the company asking one of their key creatives, what is it you want to do, is always a good sign. But he says, I want to learn how to direct live action. I want to learn how to do that. And so Kathleen Kennedy arranged during the production of The Last Jedi to send him to England, to send him to Pinewood Studios to shadow Rian Johnson. Now listen, that's excellent film school right there, because Rian Johnson, I don't think is a great storyteller, but I do think he has a very keen eye for directing, and I do like his style of directing. If you watch his episodes of Breaking Bad, you guys know what I'm talking about. And as much as I bitch about The Last Jedi, I still feel that The Last Jedi was shot and directed very well. I just didn't care for the story. So when I think about Filoni teaming up with Rian Johnson, that is good. I would prefer Rian Johnson, who takes his craft more seriously, than someone like J.J. Abrams. Not to say that J.J. doesn't take it seriously, but they're just two different types of filmmakers. Filoni comes across as the kind of filmmaker who wants to tell the intimate story, who wants to get into the nitty gritty of it. He wants to learn the ins and outs, to pay the right homage. JJ is kind of about the world building, and he's about the MacGuffin. He's about the mystery box. He's about the red herring. He's about all of those things. Rian Johnson isn't, and Filoni as a storyteller isn't either. Filoni as a storyteller really wants to dive in and tell these kind of intimate stories and build these characters. And so you can tell, based upon things he has learned from Rian Johnson as well as Jon Favreau, that has helped shape, I believe, The Mandalorian into the show that it is. So him being elevated to this position is fantastic, because what it generally means, at least according to me, is that he's not taking over Star Wars. It would be great. But what he's doing, I think, is having a much, much larger voice at the table and being able to really influence where things are going to go. And that has been working out very well for Star Wars. And that has been moving it away from the sequel trilogy, moving it into a new path that has ties to the sequel trilogy, that is doing things to explain the sequel trilogy, and it's giving us a long run to get there. And by the time they get there, it's entirely possible that Filoni and Favreau and all the people there at the story group have figured out how to make the sequel trilogy more palatable to those who weren't happy with it. By focusing more on the time in between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, they can build out that narrative, they can build out that mythos, and they can build up to those films by giving us ancillary information and all sorts of new things that will hopefully enhance those movies. Very similarly to how the Clone Wars animated show enhanced Attack of the Clones and made Revenge of the Sith fucking epic. Because of taking its time and giving us more of that story, we were allowed to immerse ourselves and be told something that has stuck with us as long as it has, and made a lot of people really big fans of the prequel trilogy who otherwise may not have been. So yeah, Filoni, he's king. Absolutely king. I love Filoni, and I'm very, 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 very happy with this one. So real quick here, I just wanted to quickly get to Voice of the Emperor, $2 super chat. Thank you. It says Fluffy is coming to Tacoma in September. Really? I might need to, my girlfriend's 40th is in September. I need to look into that, because that would be great to go and see Fluffy. And then H Bart's here. My friend wants some copium. Who is my friend? Who is this? Who is this? I'm kind of curious. I do love geeks here. Dave is a national treasure. I agree. Just a random, very intelligent Drake says, finally, the suits at Disney and Lucasfilm have removed their heads from their asses. It does feel that way. It really, really, really does. James here says, Kathy Kennedy could never be publicly fired. She has 4 decades of dirt on everyone. I would like to just kind of point out here, James is a Mecha Random 42 simp. So take nothing he says with any actual information, validity, nothing like that whatsoever. He is a Mecha Random 42 simp. That is that. That is that. Anyway, it's true. It's true. All right. And the last sane one here says, I've seen Fluffy live and he's really good. I've watched a lot of, a lot of his stuff. He's got that show on Netflix too. That's really good. Mr. Iglesias. It's a really funny show. So if you haven't seen that yet, it's great. And I love that Jacob Vargas is in it. He was Lil Joker in Next Friday, and so he was the villain of Next Friday. And I love that he's now a teacher on the show. It's great stuff. Geeks here asks, who is Fluffy? Gabriel Iglesias. He's a comedian. Look him up on YouTube. He's funnier than shit. All right. So Music Man here says, I have it was very good. You guys talking about Knives Out? Yeah, Knives Out. Look, here's the thing. I liked Knives Out a lot. I really did. It was like the first Rian Johnson movie that I really kind of connected with. I didn't care for Looper because Looper was kind of too self-involved and a little bit up its own ass. Here it was a little bit like that too, but the ensemble cast did a fantastic job in really kind of, playing out the role. And here, I mean, they're dropping $450 million for Knives Out 2 and Knives Out 3 on Netflix. They just got Kate Hudson to join the cast today. Batista joined the other day. Leslie Odom Jr. joined. A few other people joined up. I mean, they're really rounding out the cast. And that's kind of cool because it's going to turn into that who's who ensemble, film that is not going to have the same kind of problem that Kenneth Branagh's Death of the Nile is going to have by having Armie Hammer being the main guy in that. And then figuring out like whether or not these cannibalistic, claims are real. Who knows? That's going to go fucking crazy. But at the same time, I also heard that apparently they took off The Lone Ranger on Disney Plus, and it just got up there, I think a month ago, and they just took it off. And I don't know if it's because of the whole Johnny Depp situation or the Armie Hammer situation. Arnie Hammer. It's going to be kind of wild. But the thing is, like, I wanted to watch the movie again. I was going to watch it because I don't remember seeing it all in one sitting. So I'm like, I'll just go back and rewatch The Lone Rangers on Disney Plus, and now it's gone. So now I got to go to like Amazon and buy a copy or find it someplace else. Maybe my library has it. Maybe there's somebody that I can find it. It's probably going to be a collector's item now. It's all like canceled Hollywood actors, the failed blockbuster motion picture. I mean, because honest to God, what has Gore Verbinski done since The Lone Ranger? Even Jerry Bruckheimer has done some stuff, but Gore Verbinski got really screwed. And you know what? The movie was kind of overbloated. So, maybe that's his own problem. All right. Let's see. H-Bart's here. Asks, do you, Matt, want some Snyder copium, my friend? What? I don't need any Snyder copium. I've already seen Army of the Dead. I enjoyed Army of the Dead. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Armie Hammer, I can never say it right. He is canceled. And it's like, the thing is though, it's like he has vehemently denied the claims that he enjoys to munch on human flesh. Personally, like I looked into it. The guy's affluent. His family comes from oil money in Texas. He was very and he just, I think the best way to summarize this is this. Him and his wife broke up. And when he broke up with his wife is when this shit got weird. Because he was like losing it in lockdown. And that's kind of after this whole thing came out. And so I'm not excusing it. Like it's some weird stuff. It is creepy. some of those text messages, you know, but you're also like, look, the guy is this, he's DMing a side piece and he's basically just like saying some sick stuff, hoping that it's going to get I don't know. He wants cyber sex, I think. I don't know. I'm not into that kind of stuff, man. I don't want to try to explain it away. I just like, I don't know. But it's entirely possible we could eventually find out he has his own red room that comes with its own drain. You know what I mean? Like we could find out that he's done some stuff. And at that point in time, holy crap, you know, I don't know. All right. So let's see here. Geeks here says Pirates is still on Disney Plus. Eddie here says the Lone Ranger is, undisputed, or it's still underrated. And then Lord Slug here asks, so is Army really a cannibal? That's he has these like, he likes rough sex, essentially. He likes rough sex and he likes BDSM type stuff. And he likes the control that comes from like butchering pigs. He likes that there's a power in there and like, and how he consumes like steak and everything else. Like it's kind of raw. Like he plays it up a bit from what I was reading. But like, and it gets a little bit weird and it's like, just people don't have the context. So without the context, it comes across as kind of crazy. But with the even with the context, it doesn't mean it's any good. It just, I don't think he's a cannibal. I just think he's like really into some hardcore stuff, you know, that boils down to like BDSM stuff. And that's his kink. And he said everyone he's been with, it has been consensual, you know? But the thing is in those situations, if there's not enough, aftercare that goes into that, if there's not enough of a build up to it, to build the trust, to have those kind of situations, a lot of people are going to feel exceptionally uncomfortable, right? That was one of the worst things that the 50 Shades of Grey franchise did for the BDSM community, was that they didn't ever talk about the aftercare. Because, BDSM, you have your dominatrix and you have your subject, and the subject is the one that experiences the pain for sexual gratification. But there's always like a limit. There's always a line. There's always going to be post care where they get looked after and to make sure that they're okay, because this is a fantasy. And I'm sure in some cases it's lifestyle and there's actual going to be harmful type stuff there. But in many instances, it's a fantasy. And so they do take precautions to make sure that you never go over and go too far into it. With this situation, it feels like there is no boundary there. Like that, what gets him off is either like chaining up women and treating them like they're cattle at a butcher shop. I don't know. Like, oh, I just want to like eat your pinky toe and like, make a map of Hawaii on your stomach or some shit like that. Some of those texts got a little bit crazy. But anyway, I don't think the guy's a cannibal, but he's into some dark shit. How about that one? Okay, here. So we got H sent the $2 saying just being a Kermit tonight. All right, man. Is that I don't know if you're trying to say, oh, would you like some? I can't do a Kermit, man. Not very well, at least. Oh, Kermit the frog here. So who knows? All right. Oh, did the audio drop? Yeah, that might have happened. StreamYard's been acting weird tonight. Anyway. All right. Shrek is Daddy, $4.99 super chat, says his smile fair as spring, as towards him he draws you, his tongue sharp and silvery as he implores you. Your wishes he grants as he swears to adore you. I don't know what the hell that is. That's kind of creepy. TW asks, have you ever seen Dominic Noble's videos on the 50 Shades trilogy? Entertaining and informative. I don't know yet, man. I haven't seen those. I've seen some videos as possible that I did. It's been a long time. I really am not a fan of the 50 Shades franchise. So there's that. KFC Wi-Fi. KFC was what I was delivering when I fell. So maybe. Just talk like Jordan Peterson. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, that's a weird one. God. Intersectionality is not something that you would find in the vein of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Please only eat meat. I can't do it, Jordan Peterson. I know. Oh, okay. It's a Witcher 3 reference. That's an old reference. Let's see here. Rational Skeptic makes an interesting point. Says the only problem with Star Wars is that there are too many stories that span thousands of years. How do you choose which ones to tell? Yeah, I get it, man. That's why the High Republic is a new thing they're trying. Okay. And just a random, very intelligent Drake here says the problem with internet scandals is that they're never reported with full context because the person providing the information is usually trying to cause a negative image. Yeah, no, I know. Oh, no, believe me, I know. My whole situation from 3 years ago, don't get me wrong, was bad. But like people took it and they ran with it to the point of it. They were trying to call me like a pedophile. People were calling CPS, trying to get my kid taken away. They were trying to find people from like when I was a teenager. They doxed multiple women as a result of going off of just very light information that I had said in this story to protect this person's identity, as I talked about why I left church when I was 15, because a 13-year-old girl named Sonia wanted me to get her pregnant. That is true. I turned her down. Shit got crazy. But that is very true. My story has never changed on that one because she literally asked me to give her a baby. She was 13. I was 15. I said no. And people, I've told that story. So people took that story and they twisted that story. And it was terrible. Like there's still a bunch of shit out there with my name attached to it with these kind of heinous, terrible accusations, things I've never done or never thought about. And that, yeah, that shit messes with you. You know, it's like, look, I'll just say I'm not an Andy Signore fan. That's pretty much publicly known at this point. But anytime somebody tries to argue that he is a sexual predator, and they use that to attack him, I will always push back against it because that's not true. That's not true. He didn't do those things. We have proof of that. So you gotta make sure that in these situations, like context matters as well as intent. And so many people out there don't care because they never actually see it. They're just on the other side of a camera or a microphone or a tweet or whatever, and they don't care. Do you guys know I still get shit daily from what happened nearly 3 years ago? Daily, by the way, daily. It doesn't stop. How wild is that? 3 years ago. And people still run with it. That just goes to show you how long this stuff lasts. I'll never be rid of it. And I've come to terms with that. But that is legitimately where things are. And it's completely terrible. All right. You got to be more Kermit when doing Jordan. Yeah, I don't know. Can you show us one of your voice impressions anyone will do? I don't do voice impressions very well. I try to understand accents. Let me see. You know, like I always love like Paul Hogan in Crocodile Dundee, right? You know, like the Simpsons episode does it pretty great, where it's, you know, they go to Australia, Bart versus Australia episode, and you know the guy goes, "That's not a knife. This is a knife. That's not a knife. That's a spoon. I see you've played knifey spoony before." So I always kind of use that as a bit of a reference point to try to like get the vocal octave just right to talk like I'm an Australian. And oftentimes it fails because I kind of raise the octave into being more of a Kiwi. So you're like, you know, when you're like, right, mate, yeah, like welcome to Australia, here in Melbourne, you know, and wanting to go see the koalas and the wallabies and the dingoes. I ate the baby. That's more, I believe, Australian. It's hard to kind of do like, right, yeah, mate. Gonna go out there to the outback, hunt us some wolf spiders. Spiders out here want to kill you. Anything that's not you wants to kill you. So that's what we're gonna do. Not die, but kill. So I mean, like that kind of like, and it sounds kind of a bit like you know, like it's terrible. It's very stereotypical. So you know, but it's like also you're trying to do like Irish or whatever, right? One of the jokes that we learned in school was like, you go, "Oh, potato, Guinness potato. Oh, hello there, everyone. Welcome to the show tonight. You know, we're going to be talking about a whole wee amount of things out there in the, you know," and so it's hard to kind of maintain if I don't have a script. And I'm not very good at it, but it's like, I've always enjoyed kind of messing around with accents and whatnot. I did some Russian, like, Srotsvutsia. Hello, my name is Igor. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about Vada, which is water in Russian. You know, we learned this here in Reds. I mean, like, I got to get used to it. It's been a while, but it's kind of jumping around. That's how I do like a lot of the dumb voices. And a lot of it's really stupid and really terrible shit. Anyway, what is Hollywood After Dark? It's Hollywood After Dark, dude. I don't even know. Do I have the brand up here for it? Do I have that? Yeah, there we go. Hollywood After Dark. So I say whatever the hell I want to say. All right. Let's see here. You sound more like Jason Statham. Yeah, I know. Did I ever find out who swatted me? No, I didn't. I still don't know. All right. Rational Skeptic here, $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Says, is Kevin Smith still playing in the Zoe Quinn film? You know, like I should write a letter to Amy Pascal and ask her about that. Like, I would love to know what happened with that movie. Like, when did the Crash Override film die? Cause I would have been talked about in that movie. Now this kind of want to know, like, what my, you know, like you guys could have come to me and said, hey, Mr. Jarbo, do you want to play yourself in this movie? Sure. Why not? You know what? I'll get money. Anyway. So, well, no, here, I'll drop the link real quick. We'll just, let's see. Yeah, we got about 20 more minutes left. So I'll drop the link if people want to come on in. Have a topic, by the way, have a topic. I know, some people don't have topics, but like have a topic that's relevant to today's content. All right. So I appreciate that one. Okay. So yeah. And, okay, let's take a quick look here. This is the thing that came up tonight. I want to talk about this. This, of course, is coming in from the Dis Insider, and it's kind of wild because apparently, according to some people, the Rangers of the New Republic are actually not in active development, right? It's no longer in active development, according to this reporter from Skylar Schuler. Skylar is, you know, I'd give Skylar some credibility. Okay. Now, he says that we know Lucasfilm has multiple Star Wars projects in various stages of development. The Mandalorian spinoff, The Book of Boba Fett, is currently filming, as well as the Rogue One prequel and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ahsoka and Mando Season 3 will begin production later this year. All the other projects that were announced during Disney's Investors Day last December, however, one project that was announced has not gained any traction and has been shrouded in mystery, and that's Rangers of the New Republic. There has been chatter amongst insiders that the project was a Mandalorian spinoff centered around Gina Carano's Cara Dune, Bill Burr's Mayfeld, and Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan, though it was never confirmed. Others believed it would introduce much smaller scaled characters, but again, never confirmed. Either way, we may not know for much longer. So in the article, the Variety article that I was actually just looking at, discussing Dave Filoni's new promotion, the trade managed to give a small update on the project. Per the trade, Rangers of the New Republic is not currently in active development. Might be a small update. It might not be even an update everyone likes, but it's an update nonetheless. And then our friend Corey Van Dyke at Kessel Run Transmissions shared his knowledge, confirming what a lot of insiders said. He says here, like we've said before, this was a Cara Dune Bo-Katan series before everything went down. Now, here's the thing to consider when we talk about this whole situation, right? Here's the main thing to consider. I know a lot of people out there are going to probably attack Lucasfilm over this. You know, the kind of people, right? The kind of people that think Gina Carano did nothing wrong and that Gina Carano was perfectly fine in what she said and all that shit. It's not true. She was an idiot. She was warned. She was repeatedly warned, continuously warned. Eventually, she said something so stupid, they had no choice but to let her go. And then she just kept doubling down, you know, like an idiot. So it is what it is. And I have no sympathy for Gina Carano anymore. I did in the beginning. I don't anymore because she just kept being stupid and kept thinking like this is going to benefit her. So if the Rangers of the New Republic was going to be a Bo-Katan Cara Dune series, I don't know how much of that I believe, considering the fact that Bo-Katan at this point, where we left in the season, she doesn't have the Darksaber. She's not the leader of Mandalore. She's not, you know, that's going to be a big issue. Her entire purpose is to save Mandalore. So unless something happened with Moff Gideon and Mandalore in the Great Purge, we don't know yet. So I don't know how much of that I could fully believe. That is unless the Thrawn threat was going to be something massive. They could just find somebody else to bring in with Gina Carano. Now, the other thing that you guys got to remember about this one, okay, is the fact that Carano herself was not paid that much money for the episode she was in season 1 and season 2. It was between $25,000 and like $50,000 an episode. On average, about $25,000 an episode. And then from there, her agents were negotiating with Disney to get more money, probably for this particular show. So I think at this point in time, what happened ultimately was that Gina Carano, like, she overplayed her hand. She got fed up. She went stupid. Here we are where we are. And the show is probably going to be reworked because they are going to want to bring it all together for a big showdown with Thrawn or some other entity, whatever that big conversion is going to be. And so it's possible that right now that they've just kind of stalled their development while they try to figure out which other character to bring in there. Personally, Hera Syndulla is probably your best bet. Tied into Rebels, give us Hera Syndulla, team her up with Bo-Katan. They kind of already have, Sabine is going to be that follow that through line. And it gives us more Rebels characters in live action. And I think that is the best course of action to do it. And Hera kicks ass. And Gina, you know what? I loved Cara Dune. I'm sad to see her go. It's her own goddamn fault. That's where I'm at with it. It's her own damn fault. And so I don't feel mad anymore because you know what? She hasn't learned her lesson and she, Daily Wire is not going to bring in a lot of money. Not the kind of money she would make if she would have kept her mouth shut and played the long game. Okay. Well, here, Ben Bamboo does say, Iden Verso. And Iden Verso would be, Iden Verso would be a good one. I agree. And I think that actress just got cast in something, but I'm pretty sure, Iden Verso would be pretty good too. That would tie it into the video games, which would again make it very, it would be branching out. So yeah, either Iden Verso or Hera, I think would be good. Or maybe Mara Jade. I don't know. Maybe Brie Larson as Mara Jade could be the thing. Who knows? Anyway. So Tony here says, the sadder thing is that in light of Carano Gate, Phantom Menace seems more than likely kicked her to the curb once all that shit died down, and she didn't even really realize she's being played for a fool. No, they're still talking about her. I think Drunk 3PO and her met in Vegas. I heard it was a very cringy video. I didn't watch it. Some people have speculated that they hooked up in Vegas, to which case I would say, awesome. It's like awesome. Like, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm not going to knock it, But I don't know. I mean, at this point now, she's working on whatever she's working on with Daily Wire. Phantom Menace is, as always, is going to be a liability. It's going to be a liability. Even though Ben Shapiro understands cancel culture and all that jazz, it's still going to be a liability. All right. And then real quick here, Music Man says, Gina seems like an idiot. She did respond to a photo of someone's dead brother by saying RIP. The only problem is that the dead brother photo was of Chris Benoit. She didn't know that at all. Well, I mean, like, that's, I don't know. I don't know everything. I don't know. All right. So we got, so we got the first caller here tonight. We got, James. How's it going, man?
Hey, man. I'm going good.
Good. So you wanted, to ask about the MGM acquisition. Yeah.
Two acquisitions.
Okay.
Two.
Okay.
So first of all, there's the Amazon MGM one.
Yeah.
And there's also Comcast Viacom CBS.
Whoa, that's a new one. What?
Okay, so Viacom CBS, what happened is Comcast has been freaking out because their numbers are garbage and they don't have the assets essentially to fight the streaming wars. Viacom CBS is badly in debt and could easily be taken over. So that's the general idea behind it. Now, where this rumor came from, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it started with some Comcast insiders. Could have been Viacom CBS, but I believe it was a Comcast guy it started with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the merger of Warner Media and Discovery, that's going to put a lot of these discussions on the table. Because at this point I'm sorry, go ahead.
They were even discussing this on CNBC.
Yeah, well, there's an article here.
Possibility of a Viacom CBS.
Yeah, and there's an article here that says, now that Warner Media and Discovery have tied the knot, the pressure's on for Viacom, CBS, and NBC Universal. That's pretty fascinating. Because combining those two together would give a very considerable market share. And here's the thing, is we actually have to ask ourselves at this point, like, is this what we want? And I say that because look at Disney. Disney has Fox and Disney has Hulu. So we get eventually Disney, the bundle package. You spend, a little bit of money, you get a couple of different things. If
Laughs in Australian because it's free here.
wait, what's Australian?
In Australia, it's free. Like instead of Hulu, we have Star, and Star is free.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
So like all the Fox stuff, Hulu stuff, ESPN, whatever, that's all just free with
Yeah.
Disney
Well, I
Plus.
know out of the US you can easily watch all sports content for free if you're not in the United States.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. But anyway, I mean, but then again, I live in the country, so that's kind of where my point of prerogative, I guess you could say.
I get it.
Yeah. But the idea here is like, so AMC, like, you know, like an IMC, I mean, NBC has got Peacock. Peacock kind of sucks. Like, no one's really talking about Peacock, but they have The Office. That's really about it, you know. And they got a couple of their shows. AP Bio, I think, is on there. They got the Saved by the Bell, I think. But like, there's nothing really coming out of Peacock that anyone is like super excited about. CBS All Access seems pretty cool because it's Paramount and it's CBS, and there's a lot of content there. But if Peacock and, you know, CBS All Access kind of merge together into one kind of shared asset company, I mean, now you're bringing in like all of Universal's movies and Universal television content, of which there is a lot. And
the only catch is they'd have to divest CBS.
And it's so funny because just last year they just merged them back under. You know, because they merged CBS with Viacom, and they brought Paramount back in under that umbrella. And so, yeah, I know, right? They have to divest, and they could, you know, they really could. At this point, they might have to, you know, they might have thought last year, look, if we consolidate, it can work well for us. But then all this shit comes out of left field, and it just changes the landscape.
They could do what they did with Disney, where they keep the Fox back catalog of content but spin off just the network.
Yeah, they could.
So that could be what NBC, Universal, Comcast, they do if they acquire it. They keep like Twilight Zone and Star Trek, but spin off the actual TV operations.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that they could do. And of course, like, I don't have any experience in those worlds, so quite frankly, I have no idea how they pull it off. But I mean, if they do it, I kind of feel like this is going to be where things go. These companies are going to have to find a way to merge together in order to compete with, you know, Netflix and Disney and Amazon, because, you know, so yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to let you know, there is one reason I am skeptical about this rumor before you get too excited.
I think it's fascinating. I wouldn't say I'm excited. I'm fascinated by it.
It didn't originate here, but Doomcock is the one who's really pushing it. So I'm not sure how trustworthy this one is.
Oh, well, I mean, it's coming
The only reason I'm bringing it up is because it didn't originate with him.
Yeah, well, nothing ever originates. I mean, the stuff that originates with him is either usually a 4chan leak. But I mean, you know, that's the whole thing though. All of these a la carte streaming networks, which are great in theory because people get to control their own content and they get to create content for a very specific market. All of that is, again, it's going to fall into the problem that a lot of these smaller guys are having, like Quibi and whatever else. Like it's probably not going to be enough. And so they're going to have to find a way to work together, especially as more and more people stop going to theaters. So these big studios are not going to be making as much money, and this money goes right into the streaming. So it just makes sense. Like, who knows if it's going to happen in the next couple of years or not. None of this is going to be right away, but it's fascinating to see what could potentially happen.
Well, I'll tell you Warner's problem. Warner's problem is they expected Disney Plus numbers without going international. Because the thing with Warner is they've sold off their streaming rights in the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Australia, and New Zealand.
Well, I think I get that. I think that a lot of that was AT&T pushing them to and
basically they sold their rights off foolishly, and now I think this is one of their biggest hurdles is they're going to have to try to regain those rights.
Well, yeah, and they were probably well, the thing is, I did see today that all of the Harry Potter movies are going to be going back to going to HBO Max. So because those were on Universal had the rights to 2025, which means that Warner Brothers paid out a premium to Universal to get those rights back. I don't know anything about the deal. I just know that that is what's happening. And so, I mean, like, again, those kind of deals can be made. And you're right. Warner Brothers did license out all this content. Same with Sony. Sony licenses out everything, but they've said, we're not getting into the streaming game. We have no desire to get into the streaming game. They don't want to make their own app. They make more money off licensing content. And I think ultimately that is what's going to happen to things like Paramount Plus and Peacock, that eventually it's not going to be enough. Like The Office, would you rather license The Office for $100 million a year to Netflix, or let it languish on an app that people just aren't watching? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
I think if I was Comcast, I'd probably would want to keep it on the app, if only because I'd be trying to build that app up.
Well, I mean, they all want to build it up, but they may not be able to. Look, the pandemic.
Well, if they buy Paramount, they can.
Well, maybe. I mean, again, it's like, I think that Amazon, going in for this $9 billion deal with MGM is a great way for them to end up getting, access to the distribution wing of getting movies back in cinemas. I mean, look, Amazon Studios is eventually going to be as big as fucking Warner Brothers. Netflix Studios is going to be as big as Warner Brothers. Lionsgate is not going to be a mini major anymore. They're just going to be a mini. MGM, or they're going to get acquired by somebody else. All of these, we're in a rapidly changing landscape. And the thing is that Hollywood is very reactionary. So because we're so reactionary, we're going to start to see a lot of like the next year and a half are going to be very fascinating. And I'm like, look, just give me good content and I'll give you my money. That's basically about where I'm at with it.
I do want your thoughts on one thing.
Okay.
The $9 billion price for MGM. Too high or too low?
I mean, MGM has got a pretty, this is for the Bond franchise as well. So
yeah, you get the Bond, you get RoboCop, you get everything.
Yeah. Like up until, and then Epics as well, by the way. So you get a lot of content.
Yeah.
And like Stargate is a franchise owned by MGM, and Stargate has a big fan base. And it appears that Amazon is really wanting to get into sci-fi and fantasy. That is where they want to be. I mean, they just announced today that Wheel of Time season 2 is getting another, already got renewed for another season before we've even seen a trailer for the Wheel of Time, which I think can rival Lord of the Rings because of how popular and just, I mean, like dense that franchise is. It's insane how dense those books are. And there's a lot of people that are really excited about this, but there's also people out there that have seen, like, again, it's got some diversity casting, and that's not, there are some people that are being real dicks about that. I don't care personally. I'm like, just give me good characterizations and good storytelling and I'll be happy. Plus Miranda Otto as Moraine. So I'm good. Or Moraine. So anyway, like, I think that Amazon is making a good call with this. I think Amazon is really going to be pushing the content in the next couple of years. And I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with because they're shifting. If you notice a couple of years ago, it was all period pieces for Amazon. That's what they wanted. They wanted period pieces. And then they got rid of all of those. And now they're focusing on fantasy and sci-fi. And people are flocking over.
Period pieces bombed. No one cared.
I mean, yeah, kind of. There was one I watched called The Last Tycoon. It had Matt Bomer in it and Kelsey Grammer, and it was an adaptation of an F. Scott Fitzgerald of an unfinished novel, and it was really good. It was about like 1930s Hollywood. It was really good. Canceled after one season. The Tick got 2 seasons. They canceled it. A couple other of those period shows got canceled. And now they're working on it. Then all of a sudden, here comes Lord of the Rings. And everyone's like, we want Lord of the Rings. So I have a feeling we're going to get more information on that pretty soon too. So, I mean, look, I'm saying like your top 3 streaming services right now, Netflix, Disney, Amazon. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you had to choose, those would be the ones to do. HBO Max, like, give it a year before they really start getting the content. This whole Discovery deal is going to be really weird. So I may not keep my HBO Max just for right now. Because I watched John Oliver, but I watched the main pieces on YouTube. So it's like, all right, I don't really need anything I want to find. I can find on YouTube from HBO. like for example, and then I'll let you go. Like
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
on Sunday nights or whatever, like when Game of Thrones is on, you could go on YouTube and just search Game of Thrones like live stream, and people would be streaming the show and you could just watch the show. You know, like there's
Yeah.
all these ways of getting it. And it's like, and I don't want to do that, but it's like, I mean, I also don't want to pay $15 a month for a service that I feel is just like, like I got my Justice League. Now let me buy my copy of Justice League and I'll be happy, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think the problem with these services is too, a lot of them have pretty crummy interfaces as well. The worst streaming service I remember was the local cable company here tried to create one for Game of Thrones, and every time the new episode came out, crash.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like Hulu had a terrible interface for a while, right? Hulu was god awful for a while. People always like they hype up Jason Kilar as being one of the founders of Hulu, but Hulu in the beginning was pretty bad. And then Disney overhauled it and now it's a little bit better, thank God. And so it's like there's, yeah, and HBO Max isn't terrible, but and I like the fact that I will admit, and then I'll let you go. I like the fact on HBO Max that they bundle things by collection. I like that. I do like that. Netflix is kind of like a scattershot. You never know what you're going to get, which is why now they've added the play something feature. They literally on my TV, I can go, okay, my profile, play something, and it will just randomly play something.
Didn't hear about that.
Yeah, that's new. So it was kind of crazy. So anyway, yeah, man, I'm gonna let you go. I got some more people to get to, and then
Yeah,
I gotta fuck off in like 10 minutes because I got to get back to watching my shows.
No problem.
So, all right, thanks a lot, James. Have yourself a good night, buddy. Thank you very much. All right, TK, what's going on, man?
I'm good, bud. How you doing?
Doing all right. Just kind of counting down the minutes until new Bad Batch episode.
Yes, I know. So I'm gonna just try and go through as many sort of quick thoughts as I can.
We'll rapid
about the
fire
last
this
little
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like one thing, quick correction: Rosamund Pike's playing Maureen.
Oh, right.
Miranda Otto was Eowyn.
Okay. Thank you. I thought it was
Not a
okay.
problem. Yeah, not a problem.
It's so easy to get those two confused. Let's be fair. It is very easy to get those two confused.
Kind of,
yeah.
The other thing was to think about. Wheel of Time is like, it's 13 books, and it was for the
14.
Sort of the next,
it's 14 books. If you,
yeah, 13 if you count, 14 if you count the prequel thing,
Yeah.
right? New Spring,
Yeah.
right? So it's a lot. But also it's like for the next generation in a sense, because Lord of the Rings came out in the 50s. Wheel of Time started in the 80s. So you have like this whole other generation of people who've grown up with it. So there is that built-in fan base.
And never mind the fact that Robert Jordan also wrote a shitload of Conan novels.
That's true.
So he's got a massive fan base of like old school Conan fans, and he did a bunch of other books too.
Oh God, yes. And the other thing was, but as far as quickly on rights, because they were talking about, James was talking about rights as far as a bunch of countries. Canada's rights as far as licensing are very strange because it's so built into the telecom companies here. In the same way that there's a lot of greats, a wrong word, but powerful telecom companies in the States. We have like 3 that are for the entire country, and they've like bought up everything. To the point where Verizon, about maybe 15 years ago, tried to make a push into the country, or 10 years ago, tried to make a push, and it just basically the telecom company and the National Regulatory Board kept them out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really dumb. Like, and another thing was, as far as HBO Max is concerned, the reason we don't have HBO Max is because that is actually directly tied to one of our telecom companies, Bell. Like, you have to have a movie package, which you have to get from getting Bell Television, and that's how you get HBO. Or you can buy Crave, which was sort of owned by them. It's just kind of like got spun off. But the thing is, you still need to buy like an extra. Like, I needed to buy the original pack, like the actual base service, and then buy an add-on just to watch the Snyder Cut. It was really dumb. I'm glad I got to watch it, and there's a bunch of stuff on there that's cool, but like, I like keeping it because there's like stuff like Letterkenny, for example, is where that's where it started. It was a Crave original before it got ported to Hulu in the States.
Yeah.
So there was that. And one of the thing was to kind of jump back to the sort of original idea, because we were talking about Rangers not being in active development. I'm not super surprised. They're working on Boba. They're working on Mando. Or they're going to be working on Mando soon, right? So like they have to go through one of those series to get to the other. And these are 3 series that are going to be apparently, from that Investor Day thing back in February, said assuming it doesn't get restructured, Mando, Rangers, and Ahsoka are all going to cross over together. So I can see them wanting to finish up Mando first to start setting the storyline and then move into development once you've got something structured.
Well, I think at this point they're going to have to reevaluate the characters and what they want to do. And I'm pretty sure, look, replacing Cara Dune ain't going to be that tough. You know what I mean?
Well, and especially considering, no offense to Gina Carano, but another thing was Paul Sun-Hyun Lee, who plays Trapper Wolf, or Carson Teva, excuse me. Trapper Wolf was Filoni's character.
Yeah.
He has free time on his hands, sadly, because Kim's Convenience got canceled. So we have that basically.
And he's a fan favorite. That came out of season 2.
Favorite, and he's a fan. Period. Yeah. Like, you follow him on Instagram?
No, I don't follow him, but I know that he's a big fan. I've seen him talk to Star Wars Explained. Yeah.
Anyways,
so no, I know that they. So I think they're going to be easily able to kind of migrate another character in there, especially another legacy
character.
I
hope it's him, especially because
I think he was already going to be in it. I think he was already going to be in it.
I hope they make him large, make a larger role for him, because I really like him as an actor. And it was tonight was a weird night for both of us, he and I, because he was keeping up with the two sporting events that we were both keeping up with because the Leafs started the playoffs and the Blue Jays were playing, but also tonight was the Canadian Screen Awards, which are effectively our individual Oscars, like the Junos for music. So I was kind of watching because Kim's Convenience, it's kind of like, it's like the Oscars and the Emmys rolled into one, kind of, sort of. I'm
like
kind of
BAFTA, right? Like BAFTA.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
it's like that. So like Letterkenny always captures the comedy award there. Like Orphan Black, the thing was Tatiana Maslany won like 4 Canadian Screen Awards before she ever won her Emmy. She was like that. Orphan Black was huge here. It was just
it's a good show. It's a good show.
Awesome. It was just it needed to break, and that was the problem. Was I think at least 3 years in a row she probably could have and should have maybe even won her Emmy in that category. It was just so stacked deep with Game of Thrones with HBO money.
Yeah,
no disrespect to the performances, but yeah, we know how the system works.
Well, yeah, real quick in here, because you said that here, Carlos Maldonado, $10. Thank you so much, man. Says, do you think HBO will remake Game of Thrones because the season finale didn't deliver? The Snyder Cut proved an updated material is more meaningful. Well, the thing is, like, are they going to go back and remake the last season? No, they're not. Are they going to go redo the finale? No, they're not. I think a lot of people
they're currently working on another show,
The House of the Dragon,
in the same story universe, and so there would be no point in kind of rebooting it like that.
Well, because they have like 18
narratively it would make sense.
Well, yeah, don't they have like 18 things in active development?
Well,
they have
there's another thing. Well, Martin's obviously still working on the books, but like he's got things.
He's not. Let's be fair. Come on, man.
I don't know. I'm not.
Look,
I don't follow the books.
I'll tell you this. This is my theory. I think he is now working on the books. He is going to deviate from the final 2 seasons of that show. I think
the other problem was the fact, and I think you and I had talked about this at some point, but like I remember thinking about this because there was what was it? Because I don't think it's that he's going to deviate. It's the fact that basically D&D had to like fill in. They had to wrap up a show in an 8th season when really it should have extended at least another 2. And I'm not saying that to be kind of for me. I'm saying like that's even like what Martin would have wanted. So basically, everyone had to act, like stupid logic. Everyone had to act like everyone else was stupid in order for all these.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's they did, and there's lots of problems there.
And that ticks me off because it's like the other thing was I know a lot of people were like, and I agree, it was they probably should have passed it off to another EP or EPs who could have guided it, and so they could do their Star Wars thing or whatever it was they were working on at that point.
But the thing is, though, like seeing it through from beginning to end, I get. All right, I get.
Yeah, me too.
And the thing is, like, they had, I think at some point they had said like 10 seasons and whatever. But there is also a time when like there is maybe burnout and you just kind of want to see it done. Now, what I think happened is I think that because George didn't finish the last 2 books, and he drug his ass on it. And when it got to be like, when they had to, sit him down and go, okay, what is happening? And he let them all know what's going to happen. And they had to fill those gaps in. They kind of had to use frog DNA. If I'm going to reference Jurassic Park here.
Yeah,
to
it's fair.
finish it.
That's not a bad analogy, to be perfectly honest.
To finish it, and then everyone got mad. I'm sorry, the Bells is like, fuck you. That episode is amazing. Like, holy shit, I love that episode. I like the last season of the show. I like the last 2 seasons of the show. I can see where it differs quality wise.
7 was
but
fine. Like
I have like
I haven't seen 8 the whole way through. It's just
the Bells is legit. Like the Bells is legit. A lot of people got really mad at like the twist, but it's like, come on, you like, if you would have paid attention from season 1, you would have seen this twist coming. It wasn't out of left field. You just didn't want it. That's where it's at. And there was so much built up animosity that was being pushed unfairly towards the show by people who were just like, were grifting it. Like, again, the Fandom Menace was running the show into the ground constantly and building up
they had something going on with Game of Thrones as well. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, dude. Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers did most of his blow up because of Game of Thrones. He'll even admit it's not even Star Wars. It was Game of Thrones hatred.
Huh.
Because I did a video saying that season 8 was pretty good, that it's okay to like Game of Thrones. He did a video saying that it's okay to not like Game of Thrones, right? And I'm like, why are you like? For one, like my content got fucking hit hella hard by people who were like coming off of these algorithmic binges of all just anti Game of Thrones content. And here's the thing for me is when I was watching Game of Thrones season 8, I went to my dad's house, man. My dad is a huge fan. Yeah. And we watched the season 7 finale together. And then I went to his place and we watched all season 8, and like, that was like, my dad and I kind of grew up apart because my mom and him got divorced when I was a kid. So it was like, it was kind of a bonding thing. So I really enjoyed the show
right?
to have that with my old man, which is nice. And, and so that was kind of cool. And then I also watched like all the behind the scenes and the making of each episode. And like, I dove into like all of that. Like released.
I think when you see what goes into it, and I think that's something that, like, I know that people have tried to argue contrary, but like, it's something I feel the same way with like the Last Jedi documentary and Skywalker Legacy, like the Rise of Skywalker documentary. Yeah. And in many respects, with respect to your video, I think it was titled, I can no longer defend the Rise of Skywalker theatrical cut.
I got so mad. I got so frustrated.
I was there, buddy. I mean, like, not that I agree with you, but I saw it because I was following your content. So I'm watching you over what, 3 weeks?
Like, just get like, I saw the movie three times, and I'm just like, it was like more than 3 weeks, but it was like they just kept like changing things, and it was just frustrating to see. And I get that.
I agree with you, and I think that's the one thing is it's kind of in the same way like it sort of it was detrimental to your enjoyment of the film for whatever reason. It just hasn't like taken things away, and there's stuff that was filmed that was what blew my mind. Like some of the deleted scenes, like for example. There's a scene in the novelization, where Chewie's shackled and Kylo, takes him off the shackles and throws his lightsaber down and says, kill me, I'm unarmed. That actually was filmed. Jonas Suotamo talks about it in his book. That actually was filmed. So it's I would love to actually see.
Because
those scenes was filmed.
Like why wasn't Chewie in more danger?
I know that they poured the poured the mold for the Oracle, the Eye of Webbish Bog, like the thing that Kylo runs into.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I like, though, to kind of get away, like to keep it in Star Wars, but away from Rise of Skywalker directly, is the fact that they are weaving those things back in. Like, for example, the recent Vader arc in the comic books, Ochi of Bastoon actually plays an important role throughout this more recent arc. Vader runs into the Oracle on Mustafar when it's still all lava before Vader, because this takes place before Vader Immortal happens. It's like right after between Empire and Jedi.
Yeah.
And then there's also Vader goes to, like you get to see like the way that it crosses over into events that lead into the sequels as well. And this is something that's, you see it going back to all the way up to between 5 and 6, which I like that they're kind of building that out. And that's what I'm loving about a lot of the stuff with Mando, and hopefully I like where it's going. I know I was in chat over on Lightcast Republic Outpost radio show, like the Star Wars show they do, and I'd kind of speculated, well, there is a crossover event. I think that it is going to be its own event series on Disney Plus when the crossover happens, and because I speculated that's going to be like the canon version of the Thrawn trilogy to some capacity.
Well, no, and I agree. I think that as I've been saying on Twitter, they've really been pushing like the Feige method, right? So and people and after and the thing is actually shit. I ran out of time. So after this, I'm gonna wrap it up and let and end the stream. So I know there's people that are in the back. I appreciate that. I'll probably do another call in tomorrow.
That's fine.
You know,
I'll,
so
I'll
but
sum,
I'll,
I'll sum up when you're done as well. Just a couple of quick thoughts on like
yeah.
Filoni,
We'll wind it down. I mean, it's 11:57 right now. I just want to get comfortable and watch Bad Batch and then chill out for the night.
Yeah, man. I hear
Because
you.
I fucking love that show, man. Like I loved last week's
Oh,
episode.
it's getting good. It's getting good.
It's like I like Omega. I'm one of the few. I feel like I'm one of the few people, but
Me
like I
too.
really like
I really like
Omega's
Omega.
character.
And
So,
I think the thing I love about it, just to be real quick, the thing I love about it is the fact that it's a slightly smaller cast than Clone Wars. Even though you had, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Ahsoka, Rex for the primary four, you still had, Domino Squad, you still had Gregor, and you still had all these other characters that were kind of thrown in to follow in individual episodes. To just have the batch is nice.
well, and it's nice because I like the archetypes as well. I mean, they're simple, but there's enough personality there, especially like Wrecker and Tech. I like because of the juxtaposition between the two. Also, Wrecker and Tech and Echo. I think they have a fun dynamic, and I'm waiting for Crosshair to come back in because I miss Crosshair. I like Crosshair.
I think probably what they'll do is there's really only for me two options. It's either he's going to die at the end of season 1, or he is going to turn back to the batch at the end of season 1.
They're gonna capture him and they're gonna mess with the inhibitor chip because that's kind of been
Did you watch Beast Wars as a kid?
I never got into Beast Wars, to be honest with you. I never really did.
Well, it was kind of like there was a character called Dinobot on that show, and basically he started as a
how original
as opposed. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah.
It's Beast Wars. It's Beast Wars. Yeah.
Long and short, he started with the Predacons, which are the Decepticons of that show. Most of the first two seasons, the first two arcs, he's with the Maximals, and actually due to kind of effectively messing with him, kind of like how the Empire did, he turns sides again. And so maybe they'll do something like that. Maybe they'll have him go and kind of back and forth. But
I mean, look, I think they're going to save him. It just makes the most amount of sense. Like, because the thing is, start looking at the merchandise, right? Look at the merchandise. If the merch is all 5 of them together and Omega, then they're going to save him. But it's like if he's out of the picture and it's like the 4 of them and Omega, then it's like there's your batch, but the thing is though, Omega made a comment to Crosshair in the first episode when they're locked up together, and she goes, I forgive you for what you're about to do.
Yeah, I know what you're
about to do, and don't. And it's also not your fault. And I love that she says it's not your fault because she knows. And I'm like, that is, and again, they're kind of leaning towards like force sensitivity a little bit.
Yeah, and then like Sean Hussey, who's the host of Republic Outpost Radio, his hill that he's dying on is that like Sidious's DNA is in there somewhere, specifically with Omega, not with the rest of the batch. But like, we'll see. I don't think so, but
I don't think so either, because if Sidious, if she has Sidious's DNA, then there'd be a bigger push to try to find her.
That's true.
Like Tarkin would be wanting to find her.
Yes, because
that
Sidious
would be a thing.
I think Sidious would be directly looking for her.
Oh, absolutely.
Unless this was something that the Kaminoans were kind of trying to hide.
I don't know. Well, let's not go too far. Not go far too. Yeah, because it's like Geeks is bailing out. Thank you for coming in, Geeks. Now I will say this: Ben Bamboo says here, the more they tie things into the sequels, the more I'm out. See, I disagree.
The more I'm in.
The more I'm in. Like in that was it episode 6 of Mando, like season 2, when they went to the factory and you see like the clone in the tank.
For season 2, and a lot of people, I think it's Snoke. I know other people don't. I think it's like a version of him.
Oh no, it was that was Snoke's theme. That was that was them telling you like this is either one of the first iterations of Snoke, or this was the first iteration, and because they blew up the facility, like it just ended up. Or did they blow it up? I gotta watch it again.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that. Like I know you're gonna wind down.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like I love Star Wars.
Once we're in back room, I'll say something about that too.
Yeah, I'm just saying. For the most part, it's like I love what they've been doing with it. I love where they've taken it. This whole Filoni thing. So I called King Filoni is king, because like this is the stuff he's directly involved with, and we're getting grade A Star Wars again. And it's like
the other thing that I love about it is, well, it was kind of funny that like he's literally had this job since the summer, and like for whatever reason they just took him that long. But what's cool is he's not the only dude. He's not the only guy in that position. The other 2 guys in that position are Doug Chang and John Knowles. So I'm like, okay, 2 guys who have been working with Lucas since the prequels. So I'm down with that.
Well, that is very good. And I here's the thing. I love that the prequels are getting love because I like the fact that going back to them now and enjoying them more as an adult.
Yeah.
And I love the Clone Wars television show. I love Rebels. I think Bad Batch gives us that nice in between.
It's what I've been looking for. I've been waiting for a show like this for a long time.
And I'm really happy with it so far. And it's already on right now. So I gotta wrap this thing up and get to bed. So thank you everyone who came on in tonight. This was a fun conversation. Thank you to everyone who donated super chats. I really appreciate it. We can talk Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Wheel of Time, all this crap all the time. I love it. I'll be back on tomorrow night, probably a little bit later because Fridays are my late night doing deliveries. If it's too late, I may not go on, but if it's around midnight, I'll probably be on. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Go watch Army of the Dead, and we will talk about that as well. See you guys. Have a great one, and peace out.